Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and on NBT World. It's a Tuesday. On the date is October 14th, and you're with me, Sandrahan Utsaha. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward, and in today's top story, the National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, is planning to close all provincial parliamentary offices nationwide in order to cut costs. And now on to today's headlines. The Prime Minister is planning to adopt the philosophy of sufficiency economy in helping lift the standard of living in tens of thousands of villages across the country. General Prayut Chan-o-cha chaired a meeting with his cabinet to discuss the implementation of various projects under the guidance of His Majesty the King's sufficiency economy philosophy. According to General Prayut, the government will launch a pilot project to improve the living conditions of people of nearly 19,000 villages nationwide, with a focus on the promotion of sufficiency and rationality, as well as ethics. He added that this is a 4-year project, which will be implemented from 2014 to 2017. The Prime Minister called on farmers not to demand too much assistance from the government due to the limited budget available, saying the government wanted to provide assistance to those who were truly facing hardship and was not looking to use a great amount of budget. He explained that the aid measures being considered for farmers will not be a repeat of the measures in the past and will not be populist measures. He reiterated that farmers needed to revamp their production process to reduce costs and improve income in a sustainable manner. As for the problem of low rubber prices, General Prayut said he has continually been in discussion with Mom Ratchawong Prediyathon Thewakul over this issue, and the government was seeking means of assistance for this group of farmers as well. He also called on the rubber tree growers to avoid demanding too much of the government because the budget was limited. The Prime Minister has shown his appreciation to the police force for their dedication to work and serve the public. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha chaired a reception to mark the National Police Day at the Police Club in Bangkok, which was joined by foreign diplomats as well as former and present senior police officers. General Prayut made an address to the gathering, in which he said that the police have always played an important role in keeping peace in society through their collaboration with related agencies. The Prime Minister added that he admires the work of the police, who have had to perform their duties with patience while dedicating their lives to serve the public, even when the conditions in Thailand are ever-changing. He went on to urge the police to try to have more understanding and a better approach to the people while applying the sufficiency economy philosophy in their work. At the end, General Prayut offered his moral support to the Thai police, particularly for all officers stationed in the conflict-torn southern border region. The National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, is planning to close all provincial parliamentary offices nationwide in order to cut costs. NLA President Pornphet Vichit-Cholachai said that the Committee on Civil Servant Affairs has resolved to close all 6 provincial parliamentary offices, which were officially opened on June 28th of last year. These offices are located in Khon Kaen, Chonburi, Ayutthaya, Chiang Rai, Surat Thani, and Ubon Ratchathani. According to Mr. Pornphet, the decision to close all offices was made after their assessment turned out unsatisfactory, as their operations have not been cost-effective both in terms of personnel and budget. He added that all officials from these units will be summoned back to the central office before being assigned to new responsibilities. Additional members of the National Reform Council, or NRC, have reported in for duty and have voiced their opinions on the best way to reform the nation. Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Community Development Department, Mrs. Gop Gao Jandi, a member of the National Reform Council, or NRC, on Social Affairs, spoke after reporting in that the NRC needed to swiftly address many key social problems, such as reducing conflict and corruption by creating a nationalist consensus, especially among politicians, as well as doing away with the depletion of the nation's natural resources. Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary of the Department of Natural Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation, Mr. Damrong Pidet, an NRC member on political affairs, said that Thailand needed to first resolve its political crisis before it could move forward, and noted that politicians needed to stop abusing the nation's resources to buy votes. Most importantly, Mr. Damrong said a national council comprising qualified experts needed to be established to appoint civil servants into the sectors that best suit their skills, instead of having politicians and ministers conduct the appointments. The Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany has organized a media talk on the recent conclusion of 3 agreements on international cooperation between the government of the Federal Republic of Germany and the government of the Kingdom of Thailand. His Excellency Rolf Scholz, ambassador of the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany to Thailand, has commented on the areas of cooperation between Germany and Thailand.
Germany is very close. It's very fruitful. It's a very long-standing process. Last year we celebrated 150 years of our bilateral relations, and it's 150 years that we cooperate, and the cooperation is good across the board: political, economic, trade, cultural, scientific, people to people. To give you just one example, within the European Union, Germany is by far the biggest trading partner of Thailand. Bilateral trade amounted to nearly 10 billion euro. 10 billion euro, that is 13 billion US dollars. I think that's a good achievement. We have 600 German companies in Thailand doing business here, beginning with small and medium-sized enterprises up to the big global players like BASF, Siemens, Bayer, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Lufthansa, and so on and so forth. And then what I'm personally very gratified about are people-to-people contacts that the people of our countries meet. 30,000 Germans have migrated to Thailand and live here. 700,000 Germans come every year to Thailand as a tourist destination, because it's a wonderful country with a welcoming society, and they are very happy there. And again, in this broader field, people-to-people contacts and academic contacts, did you know that between German and Thai universities we have more than 150 partnership agreements? With no other country in East Asia do German universities cooperate as closely as that. I think that's a wonderful achievement. So your question, German-Thai cooperation, Thai-German cooperation, it's a true success story.
The ambassador also talked about the key policy areas of cooperation, including the promotion of low-carbon economy and the reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions, which started in 2009. The German government pledged a further sum of 2.8 million euros for the next phase, raising the overall assistance to 7 million euros worth, which is a part of the International Climate Initiative. Another policy area of cooperation is the trilateral cooperation, which is a joint German-Thai partnership program aimed at supporting the development of neighboring ASEAN countries. The last agreement includes the connectivity of several cooperation projects between the Federal Republic of Germany and ASEAN. Finance Minister Somai Phasi presented Thailand's short and long-term economic stimulus measures to credit rating agencies during the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, and World Bank meetings last week in Washington, D.C. Director of the Fiscal Policy Office, Grisada Jinawicharana, said Mr. Somai met with representatives of 3 major credit rating agencies during his trip to the U.S. from the 9th to the 12th of October 2014 to attend the meetings. The minister explained Thailand's economic policies with a focus on urgent disbursement of government budget and infrastructure investment to the agency's representatives in the hope of earning the country a better credit rating. The agencies informed the minister that they thought that the Thai economy still had strong foundations despite many risks over the past 4 to 5 years. The Finance Department has revealed that the Thai gross domestic product, or GDP, is to grow by 2% thanks to an increase in tourism, while the inheritance tax code is being considered as a royal decree. According to Permanent Secretary for Finance, Mr. Rangsan Siwarasad, the economy in the 4th quarter will likely fail to meet the projected growth targets. In addition, exports, which have been adversely affected by the euro crisis, have been in a slump. As a result, the economy has to rely on the tourism sector and government's projects. The government, meanwhile, has been pushing its investments and budget disbursements in order to enable the current year's GDP to grow by 2% and hopefully by 4 to 5% the following year. In the meantime, the inheritance tax code is pending consideration by the Office of the Council of State. Its implementation timeframe could be concluded by the end of this year. In response to the government's digital economy policy, the Ministry of Commerce has launched 2 new mobile applications to enhance the efficiency of international trade dealings for Thai and overseas businesses. The Commerce Minister, General Chachai Sari Kanya, presided at the launch of the mobile applications at Siam Kempinski Hotel in Bangkok, stressing the importance of the digital economy as technological advances and fast, up-to-date communication are key factors that have a direct impact on global economic growth and play a vital role in the world economy. Mrs. Nantawan Saguntanak, Director General of the Department of International Trade Promotion, or DITP, of the Ministry of Commerce, presented the 2 mobile applications, namely DITP Connect and ThaiTrade.com, as a response to the world's ever-changing technological context. The DITP Connect app provides the latest news and updates from databases maintained by the DITP and its various offices of commercial affairs. Through the application, Thai entrepreneurs can easily catch up on all the major international trade movements, filter stories to read about products and markets that are relevant to their interests, and obtain information on trade shows, training programs, and other international trade promotion activities. The application can be downloaded for both iOS and Android devices by simply typing DITP. The 2 applications will pop up ready for selection. For more information, users and anyone interested can contact the DITP hotline at 1169. The Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives Office in Ayutthaya Province has designated agricultural zones across 16 districts for rice planting with a combined area of 2 million rai. Apichat Sutika, Chief of the Provincial Agriculture Office, revealed that the zoning was carried out to help farmers obtain higher produce and reduce their production costs. The zones have been divided into different categories based on the soil quality and conditions for planting crops. According to the official, a total of 1.09 million rai of land have been designated as the most suitable area for planting rice, whereas other portions of 10,000 rai and 34,000 rai of land have been classified as moderately suitable and least suitable to grow rice, respectively. Farmers have been advised to grow crops according to the market demand. Mr. Apichad said that the zoning was carried out to boost rice productivity for farmers. Dense fog has covered many areas of Songkhla, causing poor visibility for commuters and airlines. The fog reduced visibility to less than 100 meters in the morning, forcing motorists to drive slowly with their headlights and fog lights on. Air traffic controllers at Hat Yai International Airport coordinated with pilots of incoming aircraft to ensure a safe landing. None of the Nok Air and Thai Smile flights have reportedly been delayed by the reduced visibility. According to the meteorological office in the south, heavy rain and damp weather in the mountainous areas can generate thick fog, which usually subsides later in the day. The Weather Bureau nonetheless has warned commuters to exercise extra caution while traveling in order to avoid traffic accidents. And in today's segment of Now or Never, Dr. Yongyut Mayalap, the government spokesperson, will talk about the government's measures to control consumer prices. Let's have a look.
Welcome to Now or Never, the program that updates you on the achievements of the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO, and the work progress of the government. Although the global economy has yet to recover, the Thai economy has shown signs of improvement in recent months. However, the government is keeping a watchful eye on the key indicators to ensure that sustainable economic development in Thailand is not wavered by fluctuations in global growth. Therefore, it has been a key priority of this government to take action that would have a positive impact on the control of commodity prices and therefore people's incomes. As a consequence of rising costs across the board, the government has been taking efforts to maintain product and service prices at appropriate levels. For example, the government has assigned the Ministry of Transport to address the matter of transportation costs in light of the call for increases in public transport fares and freighting fares as requested by operators. In this case, the government has underscored the policy that any measures taken must reflect appropriateness, practicality, and fairness. The adjusted fares must therefore be acceptable for both operators and the public. On consumer products, the Ministry of Commerce has been assigned to control price levels from the production stage to the distribution stage to make sure that prices of raw materials and those set by retailers and wholesalers are well suited with factory prices so as to prevent opportunistic practices that take advantage of the consumer. As such, laws will be enforced strictly to prevent hoarding of goods and to maintain sufficient supplies. Furthermore, the government has assigned Ministry of Commerce to seek cooperation from manufacturers to extend the period of price pegging for a few more months after November. The government is also implementing various projects to reduce cost of living, such as the Farm Outlet Project, which serves as a systematic and direct distribution center for agricultural products. The 20th outlet was opened in Cha Cheong Sao province on the 18th of September. Another project called Nunit Pachim involves restaurants selling inexpensive ready-made meals that are clean, healthy, and delicious. Since its launch on the 8th of August, more than 1,000 restaurants in Bangkok and its surrounding vicinities have joined the project. This project will be introduced to every region starting in the Northeast. More than 5,000 restaurants are expected to participate once the project is launched in all regions. Under the project, the Prime Minister hopes that people can save 10 to 35% of their daily food expenses. สวัสดีครับ
And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. It's time for a break, but first let's take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thailand to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 81st anniversary of Public Relations Department. Creative media for society and mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
Welcome back. This is Newsline, and it's time for a look at news from around the world. Residents in the port city of Visakhapatnam faced a lack of food and fuel yesterday morning after Cyclone Hudhud lashed the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh, killing at least 6 people and leaving behind a trail of destruction. Cyclone Hudhud blasted India's eastern seaboard on Sunday with gusts of up to 195 kilometers per hour. The port city of Visakhapatnam, home to 2 million people and a major naval base, was hammered as the cyclone made landfall, unleashing the huge destructive force it had sucked up from the warm waters of the Bay of Bengal. Wreckage was strewn across Visakhapatnam. Most people heeded warnings to take refuge, but some people were killed by falling trees and masonry, and thousands of homes were damaged. Meanwhile, the powerful typhoon Vongfong has brought high waves to coastal cities in eastern China, Zhejiang province, inundating ports and streets after it injured at least 59 people in Japan. Typhoon Vongfong brought high waves to Zhoushan City at around 11 a.m. earlier, raising the water level to 50 centimeters in less than 2 hours. Houses in low-lying streets were flooded as well. The now depression-level storm is expected to touch down mainland within a couple of days. A man in Massachusetts who recently returned from Liberia is being evaluated at a Boston hospital for a potential case of Ebola after complaining of a headache and muscle aches. A health officer at Beth Israel said the patient is at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, but there is no confirmation of Ebola. The response in Massachusetts demonstrates the high state of alert medical facilities are under since a Texas health worker became the first person on Sunday to contract the disease in the United States. She had treated a Liberian man who died of the deadly virus last week. The health officer said if Ebola is suspected, doctors will test for the disease, possibly with the help of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta. Testing would take 24 to 48 hours, according to the health official. There have been several Ebola scares in the United States in the past week. A plane was briefly quarantined at a Las Vegas airport on Friday after a passenger reported feeling unwell. Health officials around the country of the United States have fielded scores of possible cases that were false alarms. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT, and you can check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. And we're going to say goodbye with people riding horse-drawn vehicles in Lampang province. Have a wonderful day. I'm Sandra Hanut Saha. Sawadee ka.